and off we go. All right, so let me just get that streamed. Yes, okay. And here comes YouTube. All right, yeah, all right. So here we are, MotiveWave. Great piece of software, get it. MotiveWave.com. Don't know what more I can tell you. So right now we have the US markets leading out because of this new credit card charge of $2 trillion that the government, US government, don't really seem to care about, where their grandkids are going to be needing to pay, and we all get to suffer. Your buying power goes down, your inflation goes up, and what do they care? They just want, I mean, they got their golden pension at the end of it all. So let's get to it. We got NASDAQ 100 with an excellent long score. We just started seeing this a few days ago. You can see the SPX 500. Again, these are Oanda CFDs, but they mimic real world. Actually, it's better. I find this can be better than what you see on other sources or the real McCoy. All right, so I forgot to mention, you can see here on Yahoo, everything's up with S&P up 0.7%, Dow's up 1.6, NASDAQ not so much, 0.19, Russell is up 1.7, oddly, crude is down, gold is up 15, Euro USD is up 15 basis points, silver's down, bonds down, but we'll take a look at that. It's down, way down, 2.39. Some of the other Forex, USD, Japanese yen down. Here's an interesting one. Bitcoin is up 5.79. The crypto 200 is up 5.97. So that's clearly the leading asset classes for the day. And then you have the FTSE was down last night, and so is the Nikkei. Was up slightly. So with here, what we got is the US markets are up with a clear bounce back since around the 6th of March. Some of the currency pairs here are struggling. Pound in the Australian dollar is shorting, but here's the key one. What we were watching as a safe haven with the US Swedish is now got a short. It is declining, two of those as well. So that will tell you when markets gold and franc and gold and the yen still have a long. Gold silver ratio's got a short there, and then we get into the silver in Canada, long there. Silver's looking good there. Silver with a long, silver with a long euro. Same with the British pound, Hong Kong, Japan. So silver looks like the place to kind of go if you want to get little pennies on your trade. I mean, again, I just put up a video on crypto. You're missing out. Large gold, silver in New Zealand, in Singapore. So silver's got some good longs. Euro, Czech, Euro, lira, Turkish liras shorting and dropping. I will tell you, Hong Kong's not looking good. That's the market, but there is a long here on the Japanese 225. Again, if you're gonna do it, go to the US. That's where you're gonna get some performance. Here's our key. Okay, so good to see. We're starting to see some movement, slight up with the 30-year bond. I will take a look at the overall other treasuries as well, but that's looking good because we had a steady decline here. So that stimulus will help, but it's not taking away the problem. All right. I just don't know what the next catalyst will be, because, you know, a week from now, will we still see these markets moving up like they're intending? The last talk, it had a bit of a pop for a little while, but it wasn't sustaining. So USD INR short with a drop in the price. More US markets on the SPX 500. Here's a 10-year. It's got a long. It's starting to move up, so it seems to be bottoming out. Good sign for now. Okay, but $30 trillion of debt, man. Woo, that's a lot. Same Morse, USD, Swedish, soybean. So we're starting to see these shorts here as well. Australia, New Zealand, stable with a short on tap. Canada, Swiss francs, the short, another long here for the NASDAQ. So you know where to go for the fun, for the party. Pound against the New Zealand, another short. USD, Norway's got a long, but it's been dropping. That's another safe haven, I know. Gold and the yen, long. Silver in Australia, slight short. Same with silver in Canada, blah, blah, blah. Let me get past these shorts here. So we got Swiss franc, euro, pound, and yen, all shorting for silver. So even though you had the longs, it will cancel those shorts I just mentioned will most likely cancel them out. So it looks better, but you're not going to get the performance you're looking for. Another short on the Australian, New Zealand, euro against the franc, not looking good. Euro against the yen, euro, two of those on shorts. Here we have a euro, Singapore dollar long. Here we have the, is this India, I believe? Two longs there, but they're just barely moving. As I said, if you're going to be in the equity markets, be in the US for now. Japanese, there's two more longs. Yeah, two longs there. So that's a total of three. So that's not bad if you want to diversify. But you're not getting the performance. What else we got here? Singapore and Japanese yen, that's a short. That says something about Asia overall. It's the US right now that's kind of like leading they're the only ones having the party. Look at Taiwan. That's a short. I've always wanted to see this do well, Taiwan, but it's not there. NASDAQ, more longs. The USD INR dropping and shorting. The reals kind of not there at all. Again, has a long here for the USD Norway. But okay, this is what you'd expect this with natural gas, where it would short, dropping. Wheat has a long and a short, so that doesn't matter. Short, two shorts on the corn. Let's see here. Pound against the New Zealand dollar with a short. We've got a short here on the pound against the Poland. Australia against the New Zealand short. Now here's a strange one. Even though Germany is moving up, we have a short on the Deutsche 30. You would expect that to do well, but it's not. And it's not performing like the US, but let's face it, Germany is not printing these crazy packages of $2 trillion. They're not having that problem. So long-term, Germany and Europe may be better. Well, I should say at least Germany, but US right now, short-term. Okay, so we're in the good there. So what I'll do is I'll go through the other ones. NASDAQ, we talked about, close that up. We have the Australian US dollar. It's really not doing a whole lot. Close that up. Okay, let me go over the oil. Oil looking okay, but if you were to, this is an okay, like we're talking since May. It's nothing but moved up. Okay, so it's doing all right. But the NASDAQ is clearly doing fairly well, but it's just these dips here are more extreme than oil. WTI there, and pretty well Brent crude is the same. So you would have been better to be in oil than NASDAQ, okay? But that's clearly performance based around the manipulation from OPEC and Saudi. Okay, so let's look at the fundamentals of the US now on the 2-year treasury. Like I said, it is recovering, but it's these crazy drops that can get scary. You can see here in March, that's the only reason why it moved up, because that's looked upon as a safe haven. That's before they started doing their printing of cash, and it's just been stable. Along comes this guy, okay, and then this one. Question is, will there be another one? Okay, so it's twice, 3 times, and if these big dips keep happening in the 2-year, that's what you got to watch. You know, the $2 trillion package will help, but long term, it's going to pretty well do this. Okay, so that's since August of last year, and that's the 30-year, and it's been nothing but in decline. Okay, so this is when around they started doing the repo events overnight with the Fed, and you can clearly see why. They're trying to keep the long-term investors happy in the treasury, because it's those treasuries that help finance the debt, so-called debt of the US government. But when you start to see that kind of decline long-term, the US is in trouble, and that also means the world is in trouble as well, because we're so dependent upon the performance of the US. And in my mind, it's good. I want to see it drop, because where people are hiding out and the performance they're getting is clearly crypto. I just did a video on it, and I mean, you're getting coins that are performing at 7-8 times in a very short period of time. That's where the safety is in, as long as Binance stays good, you can withdraw out of Binance. That's where I'd probably stay. Not just that, but it's a great hedge against inflation, because inflation is going to really take you down. Okay, so we've looked at the 5-year or 2-year. 5-year, you can see that dip has really started to accelerate since February 11th. Okay, so when you look at the overall, let's say that's the daily, weekly, you can see that severe dip there. We had one in September of 2018. Don't know the history there, but it clearly moved up because of the virus. That was a safe haven. But when you, there is a reason for why this drop is happening since February. It's clearly because if you start printing like they're doing and not care, this is what starts to show up. This is the real one you got to watch, and you can't hide that. You won't hear about that in the news. You will not hear about that among your pals and your shoe shine guy and whoever. Okay, you're just not going to get that. But that right there is proof that the U.S. is not doing too good. So then when you look at the 10-year, it's the same story, but that it's already started the decline on a 10-year treasury, starting around September, started to decline, but it really started to accelerate in January this year. And that's the pandemic. A lot of it has to do with the virus. Let's talk about that. I'll probably get banned for this or demonetized. I mean, my YouTube channel is useless anyways. But what's going on right now is we have the variants. We have the US, Texas just opened up, as well as, I can't remember where else, but they're opening up. But they're the number one number of deaths in the US is because of some states want to have their freedom, killing people off. And you can see that confidence starts to really take hold. I was just reading today, Brazil's going to be the real one. If there was going to be a global pandemic version 1B, 2 of this thing, it'll be coming out of Brazil, because they're not handling it. The Jair Bolsonaro, whatever the guy's name is, he doesn't care about this. He's not fighting he's not bringing in laws of lockdowns whatsoever in Brazil. So in Brazil, the virus count is out of control. Hospitals are on the verge of breaking down. The ICUs are getting filled And once we start to open up the travel again, anyone out of Brazil could easily spread this, no different than coming out of China. But the difference is that China at the time when this virus was out of control, they were trying to do something about it, even though they were in the wrong for other reasons as well. But when it comes to Brazil, they're not doing anything at all, as far as I know. So with that around, that's where the real problems will start. And I feel sorry for the people there, but again, it's the leader they voted in for that got him here. So when you compare that same notion with in the US, we could see another major spike again in numbers. In my city here in Toronto, yesterday, they said that the new cases that are coming out, 40% of them are the variant. So the variant's having that much of an effect. So even though we're having a major party going on with the NASDAQ and whatever else, that kind of news is going to really bring down this, which will bring us to the period where we had this massive drop here in March. And when you look at these numbers for the 30-year Treasury, just dropping like a stone and accelerating in the last since really since January, but really that drop in the 10-year has accelerated since February. And then when you look at the 5-year, that started to accelerate. So this, if this doesn't hold up, this will continue and you'll see more of it. And same with the 2-year as well. So critical stage we're at, but we'll leave it at that. So temporarily think of this stimulus as having a temporary sugar high for the American markets, and the world kind of benefits from it. But that's why I'm saying that when this really takes hold, this negative news, I think, you know, there is the vaccine as well. I have my questions on it. We still can't do anything at all. Like we still have to wear a mask. We still have to social distance. So the vaccine, who knows where it'll go. And this is a virus, so this thing can always mutate. And I heard on Bloomberg, they're talking about we will be taking a new vaccine every year for the coronavirus. No different than the flu shot. So that's where we're at. So we'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching. And always remember to look at the crypto, especially in Binance, if you are not restricted by the country that you live in. Hopefully this was good. We'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching.